Whoopala! Forgot to add myself. Hello, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Let's see. We are set up. We are going to discuss Tangem Wallet today. They have updated just not too long ago, roughly a month, that they are distributing the information right now in October about their 2.0 version and their updated wallet. They, for a long time, they didn't want to incorporate any BIP39 solution in their wallets, but now they did, and we're going to have a look at that and decide, do we like it? Do we not like it? What is the good? What is the bad? And what is the ugly part of this? So let's dive into it. Let's start with their website first. We're going to check out tangem.com. Let's bring it up and have a look. And we're also going to change it to this view. So, Tangem. First of all, it's an phone-based Android and iOS wallet, kind of hard there. They're using a special chip that they have. It's EAL6 Plus certified. Let's have a look. So Swiss-based, they have a 25-year warranty, which is kind of great. Their plastic cards that they have the IP68 certification, so they're very durable. They're water resistant, dust resistant, all the good jazz. It's very rigid, and there is a chip inside this plastic card, similar to your bank card, your credit card, or sometimes you have like NFC chip cards that you use to get into building and stuff. It's the same technology basically. So they are audited by Kudelski Security. That audit is from 2018, so it's a little bit dated, but they didn't change their software, and it's still a trust-based system in the end. And yeah, EL6 Plus security standard. It's also used by NASA and the Air Force and so on. It's one of the standards to use. So some marketing stuff, blah blah blah. Simply the card, and as you can see, it is primarily designed for a phone system because it has the requirement to be used as an NFC connection, not NFTs. And therefore, you can only use it on a phone that actually supports this feature or this technology. You cannot use it with a laptop, for example. You cannot use it with your normal PC setup. So it's really fast. So that's very positive. To set it up and get started and get going, you only need like 3 to 5 minutes. Like it's very intuitive, very well done for somebody who's like new to crypto and wants to get just a little bit of security. Like this is the thing to have, but it comes with its limitations. Yeah, but this is a very positive thing. 3 minute setup. Like free, so there's some material, and then smart backup. So the smart backup is you get basically 2 or 3 cards in the V1 and in the V2 version. You can choose, and the chip in the card generates a random private key which never gets exposed. This is for the original V1 version or for the V2 if you do not use the seed phrase option, because it's optional in the V2. The card then establishes a secure connection which with each other and transfer your encrypted private key. This is done via encryption. It's a 256 encryption, and I forgot the name. It was like Himmel something encryption method that they use so that the transfer between the 2 cards cannot be read out by the phone or anything interacting in between. So no man in the middle software, no virus, no anything can read out that information that is transferred over. The keys are stored on 3 cards with no other copies to be found across space and time. And this one actually makes it a little bit dangerous because you can only have those 3 and no more. So 0 out. This is the Tangem chip. As I said, it's EL6 Plus certified. It is created by Samsung. So the company itself is Swiss-based, but the manufacturing is in China, and the main chip is created in China. It's put into the card, and then it's distributed through 140 countries. So most of America, Asia, and Europe, they are covered. So you can almost get it everywhere. And yeah, you also got the biometric security through the app and an access code for accessing only one of the cards. I'm going to talk about the access codes a little bit later. Let's see. Yeah, this is what the application looks like. You can do all the things, buy, sell, earn. They want to have some more staking features. They want to add more cryptocurrencies over time, but the biggest ones are supported right now: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin. You see the main ones. No post-chain support, no hex support. It does not have any RPC settings, but we have the APK, which is the standard. You can scan to get to Google or App Store, and those are the main ones anyway. And then let's talk about the Tangem chip in a little bit more detail. So we got the EL6 Plus, and we also got the IP68 here. So dust and water temperatures, extreme resistance. It will take a beating, but it is not fireproof. Meaning, if you have to store it as a backup, it has to be somewhere where it doesn't get into a fire and it doesn't get crushed. Because if the chip gets damaged, you have a critical data loss and the information is gone. So therefore, if you do have a backup, you have to set it up in multiple locations, and you have to hope that these free cards will be enough forever. But it comes with a 25-year warranty. They are very confident that if something happens, that you can exchange it. So you could, if one of them is damaged, you could still theoretically copy it. But the information that I found is that only 3 are maximum. So it's kind of scary that you can have only 3 backups, or 2 backups. One you use, one is the backup, and then one is the secure backup in another location, ideally. So that's kind of a hard sell for me. We got the environmental protection. So because of how the card is made and the chip is made, the Samsung chip inside the card, it also is resistant to X-rays and EMPs, the electromagnetic pulses and discharges. So it's protected. Even if somewhere an atomic bomb goes off, you get an EMP, the chip would still work. Just a chip with an antenna. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Because it is an NFC chip, there are no moving parts. There is no battery inside. So when you take the card and you tap it to your phone, the antenna of the phone is using induction technology to power the chip and then use all the functions on the chip. Counterfeit protection. The app verifies the authenticity of both the chip and the firmware. So this is like a genuinity check. Most hardware wallets have this, and it's pretty good. They just have a serial number that they create in the factory. They check, hey, is this really our card? And hey, is this really our software that was installed on the chip or firmware? It's ready to go. Okay, let's have a look. Independent firmware audit. Yeah, Kudelski security. As I said, this is a little bit dated and open source, verified by the community. There are no backdoors in our app. Check it yourself on GitHub. The app can be recreated even if it's needed. And they allow also a download for an APK right off the bat. So you get the APK, you get the GitHub, and you get the security audit, which is nice. Oh yeah, 25 years guaranteed. Trust-based choice. This is some more marketing material, and that's it. Yeah, so 2 cards, a little bit cheaper, 55, and then 3 cards, so you have one additional backup. It's $69. This is the V2 version look. The other ones had a round emblem on it, the older ones. some comparison. And the chip data, so here it is, Samsung chip S3D350A, 65 nanometer process. The core, 352K flash memory, some ROM, read-only memory, and random access memory, 11K. It's a very tiny chip. They don't have a lot of power. They cannot store a lot of, and they are limited with the interface and the functions that they have. But it is enough for what we want. Tangem, this is the size of card, 85.6 millimeters. It's just like a normal credit card. And then you can see here, this is the chip, and around goes the antenna so that it can actually function with the NFC connection. So in this setup, if you use it as a card, the phone is basically just the display. It is used as an extension of the card, and all the encryption, all the entropy, the generation of the private key, and therefore also the public key, is happening on the device itself, on the chip that is on the card itself. This is true for the V1 and also for the V2 version. This is, however, not true when you use the seed phrase option. So let's get into that. Actually, let me cover real quick the evaluation assurance. So I have that open up already. So the EAL level, it goes from 1 to 7. That's and the Tangem Wallet has the EAL 6 plus. It's pretty high up in there. It's basically just a framework for all the developers, anybody who is creating security systems or that need like a high fidelity, high security standard and so on, anything that is based in finance, based in military applications and so on, they are using these systems, and 6 plus is pretty high up there. Okay. And then let's have a look at this quick intro that they have. Get your Tangem node. There you go. So you scan the card, NFC, activate it, you generate the wallet. Tap, creates the wallet, it's active. Here it shows Bitcoin. Oh, and also, by the way, here, buy with Apple Pay, Google Pay, or credit card, debit card. So they make it easy. They are basically like an intermediary between you and exchanges, and they allow you to buy crypto directly on your phone. This has a fee, and they're making money off of this just a little bit. So that's cool. But you know who is not making any money? This review, this overview, this analysis is completely unbiased. As you noticed probably, I do not share any referral links. I do not give you any shills. Nothing in here is sponsored. And they actually came up to me, and I talked to them, and they offered to send like free reviews, but I denied even those because I do not want to be biased in any way. I just want to review it as it is. And oh, hey, by the way, hey to the chat. Welcome, Logi33 and Anamekari. Welcome, hello. So this is just my personal opinion, what I see, the positives and the negatives, and how to use them, how it will be beneficial or an issue in the future if you use it. Let's finish this video. So buy with Apple Pay. It's very convenient to have your crypto on your phone, and then it's you can have it. That's the process. purchasing, and then you have your Bitcoins, your Bitcoin on your device. That's it. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin, because one of the drawbacks of this wallet is actually that it only supports one address for each network. And as you may be aware, this is a very insecure thing for Bitcoin. You are not supposed to reuse your addresses in Bitcoin. It opens you up to attacks where if somebody it's very specific, like it's you need the hash, then from the public address there is a way to capture and then revert into the private key, get access to your funds, and then you're out of your money, potentially out of your money if this attack gets executed. So therefore, the best practice is never to reuse your Bitcoin addresses. This is like a mantra from very, very olden times from all the Bitcoiners. In Ethereum or any other EVM-based cryptocurrencies, that's not such a big issue. Anything that's account-based, basically. But in Bitcoin, it is, and it also limits you to have only one address, because now you cannot have an exchange wallet. Now you cannot have a degen wallet. You cannot have a trading wallet. You cannot have your cold storage separated. You're only limited to one address on Ethereum. So that means if you somehow still interact with a malicious contract, if you somehow send the funds to the wrong, sending is not an issue because that's on you. But anytime you connect to a DApp, or if you get somehow your stuff compromised, you do some kind of mistake, all your money on this one address is gone. And if you store like a giant bulk, so let's say you have, I don't know, $50,000 on Ethereum, and you lose access to this address, or you do something stupid with it, all the money is gone. Where if you had a different hardware wallet which allows you multiple addresses, then you can space out your funds and you say, okay, I'm gonna trade only on this wallet, and I only put $1,000 worth of crypto on there, and my other 49 sit in a different address. This is more secure because it's separated. So now if you do something stupid, only 1K is at risk and not your whole 50K stack. Yeah. So, and now let's go through the installation process in a little bit more detail. I have here all the things. Hey, Academic C8, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Let's see that this works. And of course it doesn't work. It only imports one picture at a time. Very, very sad. Switch to the other view again. Okay, here we go. Meet Tangem. Then it goes to the legal disclaimer. And then you got the seed phrase. Now here you got two options. This is for the V2 version, by the way. You can generate seed phrase, or you can import wallet. And actually, there is one screenshot that goes before, and it's this one. So you can create your wallet, or you have other options. The create wallet option still allows you, like in V1, to generate your keys privately, which is generated on the device itself. And this does not expose the key, but that means that you also do not have an option to do your own backups in Steel or anything similar, which would be more rigid. And then if you want to, you can import a wallet, which is a 12-cert seed, or a 12, a 15, 18, 21, or 24 word seed, actually, if you want to import it. And you can generate your own seed, which is only a 12 seed. It does not generate any other seed words. And for the device, oh boy, was it here? Option seed phrase. So here we go. This question is actually answered by the support. When you generate the seeds, let's zoom out. Here we go. Tangem AG. I am getting a Tangem, but it's not. But I'm not sure if I'll choose the seed phrase option. As far as I know, it will be shown at my phone, and I'm not sure if it's compromised or not. And the Tangem support answers, you don't need hi, you don't need an internet connection to generate import the seed phrase. Thus, a phone without Wi-Fi or SIM card can be used at this step. However, an internet connection is necessary when creating a backup to download the certificates. Even so, you can initiate the seed phrase generated on one device and proceed with a backup of another device that has internet access. When using the official app, the risk compromise is removed. We advise users to prioritize their digital hygiene by maintaining a secure device environment, running most up-to-date version of the mobile device's OS, and downloading apps only from official sources. And then he brings up but what if I have a virus? And this is what's the attack vector, meaning if you use the generating seed option, you have your seed phrase exposed to the phone because it's actually generated on the phone. It is displayed on the device. It is in the RAM. They say they do not save it, but it's still on the hardware device. The data is there. So any virus, even if you disconnect your internet, even if you remove the card from it, if your phone is compromised at this point in time, your seed phrase will also be compromised, and the hacker will be able to get your funds that you put on your Tangem, because then once the phone is reconnected to the internet, he could just send away your key information. He could grab it out of the RAM potentially, and then you're out of your money. So this is a big no-no. This is why I generally do not recommend having any type of seed phrase on your PC, on any device that is connected to the internet, and you shouldn't type your seed phrase into any keyboard. It shouldn't be displayed on any other display or device. And Hex Turtle says, Tangem Wallet is really great. I've used their cards for a long time. I wouldn't stake using Tangem just because you don't have your seed phrase, though Wallet 2.0 is supposed to be able to have one. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. You came to the right show. I have used the Tangem card before, and it's amazing. They also say they cannot recover funds from a Tangem card, but they have a device in their lab that can possibly recover funds from a physical card. Overall, Tangem cards usually do not have a seed phrase that is recoverable. Yeah, it's an option. So as I said, you can use V1, which doesn't has it, or you can use V1 also with the generate privately, which we're going to go back to. That is here, generate seed. And then we actually continue on. So this is the import option. And then if you wanted to, you would then paste your seed phrase, which is not secure, in my opinion, and should never be used, because this would mean that you are exposing your private key to the device. So you have to manually type it in, or you have to send it in via email. Now, anytime you import a private key, you are basically on a phone exposing it to an internet if you're using that phone normally, unless you have some type of burner phone that you never connect to the internet and then destroy it after you use it, something like this. But then you also have the issue of updating the app. I would not recommend this. I am going to talk about what I would use it for a little bit later. So this is the import function, and then we're gonna go to the back to the other one, which is the generate seed phrase. So now this is your seed phrase. It will show it on the phone, as I mentioned. This is just a random one. And then this is another cranny that I don't like. So it only checks for the 2nd, the 7th, and the 11th word. It doesn't check for all 12 of them. If you have a mistake, you write for whatever reason, you write down the wrong order, or you misread the word and you write the wrong word in any of the other positions, which is, well, the ones except 2, 7, and 11, you're going to be out of your money because you wrote down the wrong seed, and the seeds are specific. You need to have the 12 words in the correct order with the exact word. I wish they would, at least since the seeds are already exposed, they might as well just test all 12 of them. I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. But anyway, moving on. So once you have checked that, you tap the card, and then it's a success. You got your wallet created, and now you can back up your wallet. So as I mentioned, you can have up to 3 cards. This is, again, the new design, and then we go through the process. Add a backup card here at the bottom. This is the next screen. You added already one. And then you create, once you have added 2 backup cards, you can then create the access code. You have your biometrics that you can add as well. And the access code is whatever you want it to be. It's basically a PIN for access of the funds and access of the cards. So whenever you send a transaction, whenever you read out the card, whenever you do anything with the wallet, you have to enter the access code to allow the chip to be read out. On the V1 version, there is actually an option to reset this code if you have 2 of the cards. So meaning this is an additional attack vector. If you somehow get held up in an airport and you have 2 of your cards with you, they can reset the access code and they have full access to your crypto. If somebody breaks into your house and you have 2 of the cards lying around there, they can steal 2 of the cards, install the app at home, and then they have access to the crypto because they can also reset the access code. On the V2 version, though, you can disable it, and we're going to go through that and what it looks like. So here is the creation of the access code then, once you have the backups. And we see this is the primary card. That gets a long tab, has to read. And then backup card 1 is done. You add the second backup card 2. So backup card 2 is actually the 3rd card, because the initial one is the setup. Then you have the first backup card, and you have the second backup card, which is 3 in total. And success screen. There we go. Would you like to use biometrics? Yeah, you can have like your thumbprint and scanner, whatever it is, and the access code. And then you have access to your Tangem wallet. There is some Bitcoin, some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, 3 cards backed up. It just remembers that. And then we get into the settings. It's on the top right, usually the 3 buttons. Here, 3 buttons in the top right. And then we go into the app settings. And in there, you can scan the card to change the settings. And then once you are in the settings, there is the option here, access code recovery. So this one is right now disabled. I'm going to zoom in. Access code recovery. And then here are the two options. So you can enable it, which allows you to use this card to reset access code on other cards in this wallet, and then disable this option if you don't want this card to be used to reset access code on other cards in this wallet. Please note that this will also prevent you from resetting the access card on this card. This is a somewhat dangerous feature to use, because if you have your first initial card where it's enabled, and then 2 where it's disabled, you need to know your access code. And the access code itself is whatever you chose. So if you have a very poor selection for it, and also it's kind of compromised because you always have to type it into a mobile device. So any virus will be able to get it. Any malware, maybe even your system on the iOS or your some apps might be able to read out what you type into your keyboard. So this is completely not ideal. If somebody is really doing a sophisticated attack, if you're rich enough, it would be worth it to try and get on your device, get your Tangem wallet, and then also get your access code, and then get your money. So I don't like it. It's kind of insecure. So if you, but let's get back to this setup. So you have one access code where it's activated, you use it daily, and then 2 where it's deactivated, meaning now there is no way to use this backup. Now you always have to know your access code. You cannot forget it. If you die or something happens to you, you get a hit on your head, you will not be able to recover it, and your family might not be able to recover it. Maybe your children, your wife, your friends, or whatever. Something happens to you, it's gone. The money won't be accessible anymore, which is kind of dangerous. Then there is the option to have the access recovery enabled on 2 cards, and then 1 is disabled. So now you have the one that is enabled, and then you have separate backup, which is 1 is enabled and 1 is disabled. If somebody finds just the backup ones and steals them, they can still not use it because 1 is disabled and 1 is enabled. So they still would have to access the original card, and they can only do that, the original backup card, and they can only do that with the access code, which they would need to socially engineer or brute force from you. And let's also talk about the brute force protection. So there is indeed a brute force protection on the Tangem wallet, but it's kind of a soft protection because there is no hard reset. If somebody enters the wrong code, the amount of time that you can enter the next code is increased by 1 second, and the maximum is 45 seconds. So let's say somebody enters it 45 times wrong. Now he has to wait 45 seconds every time he wants to try another brute force attack. This is somewhat okay if you are just trying to get access to your own device again, and you're like, maybe it was bibbly boop 33, or maybe it was bibbly boop 35. I'm not completely sure. And you're gonna try, like, for you, it's okay to wait 45 seconds and do it. But if somebody wants to do 1,000 passwords and try to like really brute force it, it's gonna take him a very long time because he can only do 1 password every 45 seconds. So it wouldn't be really time efficient or manageable to do a brute force attack with like a dictionary or something. It would have to be more like a spear brute force attack where somebody already knows what kinds of passwords you use, and then try to get something specific. Let's say he knows more details from your PC. From your phone. Maybe he has your birth dates, your friends and family names, and so on. Then maybe they try to brute force it this way, and then it would be crackable. This is why it's very, very important that whenever you use some type of access code, password, or PIN, that you choose one of sufficient length that you can easily remember. So do not use complicated ones with like numbers and digits and special characters or whatnot. Try to use one that is lengthy, but is a simple phrase that you can remember and that is unique to you. So I don't know, dread pirate flying on a ship, which is very long. It has a good entropy and protection, and it's easily rememberable for you. Okay, let's move on. So we got the access recovery covered. Biometrics, no, wait, we were in the settings, and then the very last one is, yeah, you can set it and enabled, and this screenshot is a little bit weirdly off, misclicked here. Okay, let's close all those. We don't need them anymore. So let's get through a few more questions, and that is, how are wallet keys generated? The key is generated on the card using a hardware random number generated during card activation, which is directly on the chip. The entropy for the random number is taken from the chip's physical sensors. So the little itsy-bitsy Samsung chip, it can read out a few things like current and so on, and this allows for the different random numbers to be created. That means that no one can ever know your private key. The hardware random number generator is a component of the Samsung produced chip. You can read the safety assessment document via this link, and this is basically for the what was the name? The audit guys. Kudelski Security about the audit. Okay. Then, where is the guarantee that the manufacturer doesn't know the key? The Tangem card doesn't have a private key initially. The key is generated when the wallet is created and the card is tapped against the mobile device. Moreover, public and private keys will be regenerated if you reset the card to factory settings and recreate the wallet. The firmware has been audited by the independent Swiss company Kudelski Security. The firmware audit confirms that the private key is created using a hardware random number generator and that there are no other backdoors or bugs that could result in the loss of funds. The result of Kudelski Security audit are available here. So there's two double checks for that. That's the app is checking that the software on the firmware of the chip is actually the correct one, and and that the card is a genuine device created in their own factories with the what's it called, the serial number on the card. So, will the card work if Tangem doesn't exist as a company? Does Tangem use its own servers? Even though we have no intention of going out of business anytime soon, we've been running smoothly since 2017. In case something terrible happens, Tangem cards and app will continue to function. The Tangem app uses the company's servers to verify the card's authenticity, synchronize the list of tokens added between backup cards, and calculate the value of the currency in your wallet. Without these services, you will still be able to use Tangem cards, though it will be a little bit less convenient. You can read more on our blog via the link. So I have a little bit of a gripe with that because it's supposed to be working for like 25 years. If you only use the private generated key, not only do you have to make it work on the with the card, so the card has to survive for those 25 years. And this is somewhat of a hard sell for me because in 25 years, there can be storms, there can be fires, there can be earthquakes that you unfortunately experience. And I think a metal backup is way, way sturdier than just some plastic and an itty-bitty chip with a tiny antenna. The second issue is that you will have to find a way to make the APK work in a phone. And in 25 years, the technology that we use, the software that we use, whatever it is, Android or iOS, might actually not support this old app anymore. So you would have to find in 25 years a way to run a legacy software, or you have to find a really old phone and then also install a really old phone firmware on it and then the Android software specifically. So that's also a really hard sell for me. I would rather have a system where I can put the seed phrase or the private key into a new system that is then supported with the current technology, with the current software that there is. And the option in the V2 allows for that. Let's see. Xturtle says overall Tangem cards usually do not have a seed phrase that is recoverable. Yes, only the new 2.0 version has that option, and it's really optional. So it's not even visible. You have to go into the other options, and then you have to generate it, as I've shown on the pictures. And Intrepid PLSX is asking, when are they adding pulse chain support? Would get so many users if they could update to pulse chain network. So we have actually a few people in the community that were trying to get them on board, and there is a suggestion to add that, but they just didn't do it yet. I don't know why they're being slow about it. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe there is just so much other work that they want to do first. I mean, development is always a little bit finicky. They have a centralized system, and they didn't set up their software to be used for everything. So, for example, they do not have RPC settings in their software, which would have saved them, I think, a lot of work if they went down that road. They could have covered all the EVMs in one big swoop if they would have inserted RPC settings, but they didn't. They added each network individually, and they keep the control over who they add and who they don't add. And in the end of the day, it's up to them. But in MetaMask and like software wallets that are more free, so to say, by the way, I think Rabby and Internet Money Wallet and Aurochs are way better than MetaMask nowadays, with the consensus company going completely bonkers. But hey, if you still use MetaMask, that's fine, I guess, but you should switch as soon as possible, or at the very least, use it only as a front end, and you should have a hardware wallet anyway. So, where was I? Pulsion network. Yeah, RPC settings. So they don't have RPC settings, which limits the technology that they can use. They're not as agile. That's a negative, unfortunately. Let's go to the next question and overview. So regarding I covered this already, but I wanted to make sure that this is really covered with from their help center. And this is, how is the seed generated? Here is there a seed phrase in the wallet? Okay. I'm pretty sure it was here. Am I not on the right one? So the wallet keys are stored on the card. They never leave your chip, which is for the normal seed generation for the V1. Then how are wallet keys generated? The keys are generated on the card using the hardware random number generator during card activation, which is the TRRNG. The entropy for the random number generator is taken from the chip's physical sensors. Means that no one can ever know your private key. The hardware random number generator is a component of the Sambong Puyo chip. You can read the safety assessment document via this link. That's this device. Yeah, okay. This is the Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol that I was talking about earlier. It's a secure 256-bit key, and it transfers the keys securely. Is the receipt phrase in the wallet? Tangem, so that is for the old one. No. Oh. I thought I had optional seed phrase. I thought I had one where it says, okay, we call that this Tangem multiple addresses. Yeah, and here's the confirmation. There is no passphrase available on the Tangem wallet. So this, let's talk about that. This goes actually into a little bit into the passphrase and option settings. So the device itself, even if you try to import something, it does not support a 25th passphrase or hidden wallet, as it's called in Fraser. So if you generate some kind of wallet and want to switch to the Tangem wallet, you cannot. That any wallet that has a passphrase. So theoretically, you could start out with one seed phrase and then have I don't know, 5, 6, 7 different 8 passphrases where you use the base setup, the base seed for that. But you cannot import that into the Tangent wallet because they don't support it. The software doesn't allow for it. Same as they do not allow RPC settings. So you're very limited in the things you can do with that. It's not using the full spectrum of the BIP39 standards and the options that you have in most, or at least the decent software wallets. Which I guess it also makes it easier for them to be limited to only specific use cases. I talked about this, and option seed phrase, we have this already. So let me see, did I cover everything that I wanted to cover? Let's go over real quick. Brute force attacks, you're limited to 2 backups. I covered that. Only one address per crypto, yes. Limited to supported cryptocurrencies. Yes, just said that. Seed words confirmation is only 3-word check. Yes. The generator only does a 12-word seed. I prefer actually 24-word seeds because some users, which you shouldn't do, but some users still do it, they split up their seeds. So if you have a 12-word seed and then you try to do a backup of it, some people just hide it in two places, and then you have 6, 6, and 6 is like almost possible to brute force. And it might be that in 10 or 15 years, 6 might become brute forceable. 6 seed words. I've already seen 4 words brute forced. We had this not too long ago. There was some game that somebody set up. Hey, here is my seed words, and there is 4 missing, and somebody was able to do it within like 2 days with a server farm. So it might be that with enough progress in technology, in computing power, that we might see 6 and more be brute forceable. So I would err on the side of error and have just 24 seed words. Why not? No, passphrase with seed phrase is exposed. Okay, and my biggest gripe is that the seed phrase is exposed to the device, which is a big no-no. Why would you ever want to use a system where the seed has to be typed into the keyboard or it is shown to you on an additional device? This is just, it goes against any best practice that you should have in crypto. Like, you should never expose your keys, and if you do, you should limit it as much as possible and move over to a hardware wallet as soon as possible. Because whatever you have nowadays, if it's $1,000, if it's $10,000, that can become, over the next 2 years or so, it can become a huge amount of money, and you want that protected. You don't want anybody else to have access to it. But to end it on a positive note, how would you use this wallet? What is the use case for it actually? And that is for a really small, on the way mobile wallet where you have to do some daily trading, some daily access for very specific coins that they support, obviously. So if it really burns and you say, okay, I need to trade Ethereum or trade Bitcoin every day, and I have to look at it at work, it's really small, it's really convenient for me, then Tangem is the wallet for you, because you can always have it with you and you can use it sort of like a hot wallet, where you you have access on the go. It is only a small amount of your money. So you do not put your like millions, your 50,000, your, I don't know, $10,000 is even already a lot on that card. Maybe you put in just $500 on it, maybe 200 that you use for some smaller locations to pay for it on the fly. If you have some currency that you're actually spending it with, maybe you want to use it for that, but you shouldn't be using it as a cold storage wallet, because it's just, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, you can still do as you want, but in my opinion, it's not good to have a system where you don't have a metal backup or a titanium backup. And with that, I think we covered everything. Thanks for joining. Thanks for having questions. If you have a question right now, maybe ask it now, and I'll try to answer it as best as possible. But otherwise, thanks for joining. I hope that helped you. And check out my Etsy store for really good metal seed backups. Where is that the one? BAMS. BAM Crypto, Etsy.com. Check out BPKetersbaum on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Telegram. If you got questions, hit me up. I'll help you with anything. Cheers. Stay safe.